Hey, welcome back, guys. Another week. This time we're covering the All-Star lineups that we created. So, hope you guys had a great weekend. Enjoyed a lot of football on my end. Diego, Dallas.
It's
Since
insane.
I had that cold take on the Mavericks against the Lakers, what an incredible win. They are hanging in there without their top two options. How are you doing?
Uh, I'm surviving. I mean, the Mavs lost to the Nuggets on Sunday, unfortunately. Expected, but we were actually up in the game. And they came back. Real Madrid lost. The Cowboys aren't in the playoffs. Lost season. Another team lost. Something else happened. I've just been super busy. It's been tough, but we play the Nuggets again in about 2 hours, so I'm like scared.
Oh,
But
no way, really?
overall, going okay. Yeah, I think we're at home though.
Easy. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys are. Um,
let's go.
Crazy right
See.
now. Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers neck and neck. Um,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about a lot of Cavaliers shortly. Um, that's
Hmm.
that's kind of like the not so spoiler in my All Star lineups. I'm covering the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Diego's covering the Western. Prepping into this episode, I thought we were going to align on a conference and then save the other for next week, and then
Yeah.
unintentionally we did the opposite conferences because I can't text and I can't read. So um, it ends up
It
working
is
out. We ended
difficult.
up finding a good balance. So we are creating 24 players that you should keep an eye on for the All Star lineup. But before
Yeah.
that, I know Diego, you also watched the Cavs and the Thunder game. What were some of your thoughts as you saw that last week?
Yeah. So even though I've been busy, I got a chance to watch this game, big game, and I was excited because obviously these are two best teams in the league right now, and mostly took some notes on the end. But the biggest thing for me is just Ty Jerome. I've heard everything about Ty Jerome. I've heard Ty Jerome is this, Ty Jerome is that, and that he's pretty good. I knew about him from NBA 2K. He was like a card you can get for completing a challenge way back when. I think when he was on the Suns. But man, I mean, he played a huge 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. My man had two steals, two big buckets, like some floaters, steals. While a big thing as well, the Cavs did was play his zone. But yeah, I mean, I've known his name and I knew he was on this team. I didn't think he was as good as everyone was saying because I hadn't seen it. But I mean, he's balling. He's having a career year, and I think he's gonna get a big contract either the end of this season or next time he has to negotiate. He's just been playing amazingly. Uh, it's just wild. I mean, you have guys on this Cavs team like Ty Jerome, Georges Niang, Max Strus, who are kind of role player guys, but they're playing amazingly. They know their exact role, and it's working out. So very interesting
Five
there.
threes and 5 assists for Max Strus coming back, and it's not that Cleveland heavily relied on him.
Yeah.
Um, like as the person on their lineup since they went 23-4 without him, but it's pretty incredible, like how he's just able
Yeah.
to just contribute just in the short time
Hmm.
back. So
Yeah, he's kind of insane there, so that's very interesting. And I guess another big thing we've heard about, well, I've heard about the Cleveland ball movement right there. That's what they pursue. They like to do that all the time. But just the big to big ball movement. There was one play where yeah, Jared Allen sets a screen on Garland. Garland then passes it over the double team to Allen, and then Allen that's he gets that in the left like elbow going towards the rim on a roll. And then right as he catches that ball, Mobley starts to cut because the defender, I'm guessing at Hardenstein, comes up
was it
to
the backdoor cut from the corner or
from the
like from the
corner.
dunker
Yeah,
spot?
and
Yeah, I
it's like
think I remember that
perfectly
one.
timed, just so easy. Obviously, perfectly read by Allen, and they do this all the time at practice. But
But he had to do that
yeah,
off the catch because if he didn't, then
yeah,
Oklahoma City's vaunted defense would have caught up. So it was just I agree. The timing that they played with was especially amongst the bigs. Like you could tell that was something that's been practiced over the offseason and something that you wouldn't have seen from the Cavaliers like a year from now. A year from now, we were talking about should Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell be
yeah.
broken up as a duo, and it's incredible like what they do now.
Mhm.
Especially Donovan Mitchell did not have a good game. Like Lou Dort did a
Yeah,
fantastic job. He was
clamped up.
what 3 for 16. Like Oklahoma
Jeez.
City had won 15 straight in that game. Um, like leading up. So like
Oh
everything was
yeah,
pointing
yeah.
to Oklahoma City had all the momentum going into this game.
Hmm.
Um, I think this game
No,
showed
definitely.
me for like Allen Mobley. Yes, that's an important point. They combined for about 46 points and 22 rebounds among the two.
Gosh, yeah,
It's incredible. I mean, probably not incredible for Domantas Sabonis, who's been going on a tear in his own right. But still, like when you put
true.
those stats up, like that's a problem for OKC. Granted, they missed Chet, but I think that what this game showed is Chet's probably the second 2.5 most important player on that team.
Yeah, between
Because
him and
even
Jalen
with the Jalen
Williams.
Williams and Shea going for 31, he seemingly goes for 31 on everybody. Like, if you don't have that rim protection from Chet, who is
Mhm.
doing his best Victor Wembanyama impression with the blocks, like
Yeah,
that's going to be a problem in the Western Conference with these other bigs. So I think it underscored the importance of Chet um, to this team. And
hmm
this is a deep, deep Oklahoma City team.
yeah.
But without Holmgren, there's some major weaknesses on this team.
No, definitely. And I mean, imagine just having a set of twin towers to go against the Cavs set of Mobley and Allen. I mean, that would have changed the game for sure. Um, Other big stuff, Shea and Hardenstein were in foul trouble. A big part of the Cavs' offense down the stretch was attacking Shea to try to get some fouls on him. He did not foul out. I think he only got up to 4 fouls, so that was pretty good on his end. Um, yeah, Cavs. Like I said, with when I talked about Ty Jerome, just the Cavs back tapping on a 2-3 zone. They got a lot of steals off that, and just playing a 2-3 zone and knowing how to kind of what they wanted to do. I think was try and avoid getting the gap basically between the two pairs of people like on the wings and the corners of that zone. Like that gap is really sensitive or vulnerable, so they were good against that. Yeah, so Donovan Mitchell had a quiet night, but the Cavs still cook. 30 lead changes with 2:33 remaining in the game is kind of insane. It was a very close game. Both teams really wanted it, so very exciting to see what happens on Thursday when they play again in OKC this time. Yeah, and then oh yeah, the Cavs went ham on the offensive glass, like we said. Jay just had the bigger guys and just tap outs. I think that's a big thing in the NBA now is not just getting the offensive rebound, but if you can't get it with both hands, tapping it back out to the perimeter, where most likely your guys are facing the ball and farther back. So if you hit it hard enough, they'll just grab it in there. It's another possession. Very interesting. And one slight tidbit I just saw, like you see this in any game, but refs will call a foul. Like say a guy, I think Shea got no, that's something else. But refs will wait for the result of a shot to then call a foul, which to me like is kind of stupid because like you're basically saying, oh, this shot was hard enough to be a foul, but if he makes it, it's not an and one. But if he misses it, it's the foul, and you get two shots. Like I think it should just be called right as the contact is made, like when the act happens. But I don't know. That's just my thought. So
I,
just
I
key
agree with you.
takeaways.
I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I kind of understand it because sometimes it's it's stupid, but sometimes in the NFL, if you have like a scoring play
Mhm.
that
Oh yeah.
you look at again to ensure it was a scoring play, but then you realize, oh, he was like 1 or 2 yards shy, or like,
Mhm.
oh, he fumbled it, but his knee was down, or something like that. I totally
Yeah.
get. In basketball, there's no such thing like that because they replay
No.
everything. They replay every single thing. So you might as well just call it in real time and you can challenge. In the NFL, you can't really do that. So I
Mhm.
totally agree. I think it wipes out the momentum for the player that's
Yeah.
being fouled and for the player that commits the foul, right? It impacts momentum both ways. And
Mhm.
I just think it leads to more technicals and like complaints from the coaches and the players. It's just something unnecessary. I think it could be something that could be trained as an
Yeah.
official. So I totally agree on that. Um, one other thought here, I think you mentioned Ty Jerome,
Yeah.
and I think I think the efficiency in the absurd numbers, especially in the third quarter, where both of these teams combined like 85 points,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think it just highlighted their masteries of their individual systems, especially for the Cavs. It's just
Yep.
extremely impressive under first-time head coach, and the fact that they
Yeah.
were able to put 41 points on one of probably the best defense in the league, if not the
Hmm.
Celtics are out there, but like the best defense in the league was incredible. That probably showed me right there that the Cavs are for real. If people haven't thought so already, and they are
Yeah.
playoff ready. I think they're equally as big of a threat as the Celtics are to win the Eastern Conference, and I don't think I would
Um,
have said that starting out, especially with the questions we had about Garland and Mitchell.
yeah, I think it's just wild. Just a change from the Cavs. Literally no lineup change at all. I mean, role changes within the lineup, yes, but no real lineup change. Everyone talks about how this is comparable to the 2015 Warriors that fire Mark Jackson, bring in Steve Kerr, and they win a championship. Similar, right? And I guess another example of this, just a quick tidbit for I live here in Detroit, and the Detroit Pistons, after Sunday's games were 20 and 19. At the same day, January 12th of 2024, they were 3 and 36. So just a shout out to the Pistons actually playing basketball, being over 500 has earned a little bit of my respect. I'm actually going to watch a game 31st that the Mavs play here. I got the tickets for Christmas.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I know I'm very excited.
That should be a great game. I don't know the timetable about Luca and Kyrie, but hopefully one of them are playing because that would be.
Luca, yeah, Luca, I'd be very, very surprised, but Kyrie might. But again, another example of a new coach, JB Bickerstaff, inciting a different culture, a different way to play for those same. Well, also, you get a lot of shooters on the Pistons, but just in general, a coach can have a lot more effect than you might think. And even for the Kings as well, they're now on a win streak. I'm pretty sure, 5 or 6 games. So yeah, coaching matters.
Yep,
That's it.
indeed it does. And as going back to Atkinson, this is his second gig at the coaching role. Just
Hmm.
because coaches have been fired in the past doesn't mean they're bad coaches. A
Yeah.
lot of times you see coaches in like a second act, like you see them be better for it because of their prior experience. And I think we're seeing that with Bickerstaff, Atkinson, Mike Malone in certain cases, like how he's had
Yeah.
to adjust. Because if you would have told me like a lineup of like without Jokic, that you had to have Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Julian Strother, DeAndre Jordan, and
God.
then insert other name here that I can't think of, would lead a comeback and win. Like
Yeah.
I would have told you you're crazy. So like what they've done from their youth has been, or Michael Porter. How could I forget him? I don't know if he
Yeah.
was playing, but like just just like 3 out of the 5 players on that lineup, like you didn't think would be like in your closing lineup, like
Hmm.
on any given game for the Nuggets. So like the coaching 100% matters, like regardless of like the players you have. And I'm super happy for Kate Cunningham in general.
Yeah.
Just a short sneak peek um, on like the type of players in my All
Go.
Star lineup. So
Let's
um,
go.
yeah, really excited to see where the Pistons land. Don't like it for them being in the same division as the Bulls.
Yeah.
The Bulls being like so up and down. One
Yeah.
game I love them. Next thing I'm like, please trade Vooch, and I'm glad he's in trade talks right now because when you think about the type of big you want a defensive big that can match up against a guard that's
Hmm.
trying to look for matchups. And the
Yeah.
Cavs have both of those right now. And yeah, so I'm gonna get off my soapbox. We're gonna jump into the Eastern Conference. Starting backward option, I'll start first here. Um, I didn't say point guard. I didn't assign guards here. I just went with like the best players
Okay.
per se, and then just where they tend to play the most. So we had talked about him last week, um, a rising star. Definitely has some improvements to be made, but um, to sit here at this point in the season, in his fourth year, um, having almost 30 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, 7.4 assists, and shooting 42% of the field. For me, it's LaMelo Ball. I think he's well
Oh.
deserving of his first entry into the All Star voting. I know I was debating
Yeah.
him and a very big star in New York, and I was
Mm.
like, I leaned elsewhere among that team and deciding like how do I decide between the two. For me, I lean
Dang.
Ball, just because of like the
Mhm.
impact he's had on the Hornets from his spot and the way
Yeah.
he plays the game, slightly more dynamic. Um, and I think he's becoming coming into his own. Does he need some things
No,
to work on?
definitely.
But also, I think this other player who's in the reserves needs to work on some stuff too. So that's my
Oh,
first selection starting us out here.
hmm. Yeah, LaMelo Ball.
You
Kind of
seem really,
insane.
really shocked by that.
A little bit. I mean, I definitely think he's an all-star, but I don't know if he's a starter. Um, just on the basis of they're not that great of a team per se. So that's like my only issue with it. But I mean, skill-wise, definitely. Like if he was doing this on a better team, like he would definitely have that spot locked down. So that's the only qualm I have. Kind of also a sneak peek for how I picked my all-star team. But anyway,
Go
moving
ahead.
on.
We can alternate here. So
Okay. So you the Eastern Conference start. Okay, so Western Conference starting backcourt player. This guy leading arguably, I guess not arguably after Wednesday, the best, second best team in the league. Mr. 30 points per game, scores 30 every game, mid-range, midi, master, man, jumper guy. Um, yeah, infinite amounts of aura on his Instagram. It is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, just like even last year, like people were saying he should be MVP, and this year, like I said last week, he just has such a much stronger case this year. He's just playing at a different level.
it's just too easy for him.
Yeah, it's really just too easy. Like it's just yeah, I can't really say much else. That's kind of it. He's playing great basketball, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do, and if he can win this MVP. I don't. I really hope Jokic doesn't. Four for Jokic would be a lot. But anyway, I'm good. That's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to see the growth that this player's had since OKC.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
where you see, I'm sorry, since Los
the
Angeles, where
Clippers.
you've
Yeah.
seen some of the flashes, but like there wasn't enough around him where you're like, oh, is it real? Is it not? And
Mhm.
OKC won this trade with the Clippers. Like, if you
Yeah.
think about it, where it's just like it just seemed like it seemed like a lot of first round picks, but it seemed worth it at the time to go all in if you're the Clippers. But now it's just like, wow, this it's almost incredible. So,
Mhm.
yeah, very worthy selection. I think the Western Conference is like clear on like tiers on like who should be in the starting backcourt option and not. Um,
Yeah.
for me in the Eastern Conference starting backcourt, um, it's the player from the team we were just talking about earlier. Despite his struggles against the Thunder, I still think he's like the best leader on the team, like the straw that stirs the drink, the guy
Yeah.
you turn to in crunch time. How could you not like say a guy that's shooting almost 45% from the field, Donovan Mitchell?
Mhm.
Just an
Yeah.
incredible player, athlete. Um, what is it now? 8 years? He's been in the league for 8 years out of Louisville.
Oh,
Um,
it's
incredible,
insane.
incredible player.
I feel old. Anyway, yeah, no, he's been balling. So I agree with this pick. This is good pick.
Gracias.
And yeah, yep. I guess we'll move on to my pick. This will be kind of obvious who I'm picking because of injuries previously stated that make me sad. And anyway, so our second man, I mean, this guy changed the game, ruined the game, whatever you want to think. He for sure changed the game in a way. Very inspirational, so inspirational, man. Stephen Curry, number 30 on the Golden State Warriors.
I
I
love the
mean,
introductions.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, Luca's out, so he's like one of the highest vote getters, but also it's Stephen Curry. I find it kind of amazing how Steph, LeBron, and KD are just locks, all-star locks. No matter what their team is doing, lock. They're voted in, so they're getting in that all-star game somehow, some way, and that's amazing. So yeah, I don't have much else to say. The Warriors, after having a good start, are in the doldrums right now. They're not doing well. So they just lost to the Raptors last night. I watched a bit of
Oof.
that. I wasn't expecting them to lose that, but they did at home to the Raptors. Clarifying. Uh, 2019 Finals rematch. Not as epic as that was. So yeah, but same result. So yes, Stephen Curry, number 2 here.
My guy is another obvious lock for the Eastern Conference seemingly every year. Just a behemoth of a man, averaging a double double, almost 60% from the field. If he goes on a fast break, you get out of the way because he's going to yam it on you instantaneously. Giannis Antetokounmpo is my
Right.
starting front court option. I had two
Good.
starters in the backcourt and I have three in the front court. He's my first selection here. He's probably the longest wingspan wing you will find among the starting
Yeah.
lineups. Just an incredible player who's finally put it all together. But we're hoping Wemby follows on that same trajectory, plus the 3-point shooting. Giannis doesn't need it. He knows how to dominate the game. He knows his spots. He knows when to go. He's matured well beyond his years at this point. This
Yeah.
is his 12th season in the league. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, at this point, he's figured it out. He's a lock for the Eastern Conference All Stars until further notice during the
Hmm.
next 3 to 4 years. So, no surprise here. I go with Giannis.
Yeah. I'll just say another reason for him to be an all-star, mid-range mastery this year. He's shooting that way better, although it hasn't translated to free throws, unfortunately, for him. But yes, I agree with this pick. Good pick. He's on my fantasy team. Oh wait, I hope he plays tonight. Anyway, yes. Oh, I'm up. I'm up. Yeah, I mean, if you've been around Twitter when all everything was going down for MVP last year, being the kitchen sink MVP will mean something to you, as it means to me. But big horse racing lover guy, Serbian man, almost took down the Team USA. I don't have to say much else. Nikola Jokic as our first front court starter for the West. It's I it's so hard to not say he's the best player in the world with how Shea's playing. But until further notice, I feel like he's the best player in the world. Just can't stop him with one guy. Can't stop him with the whole team sometimes. So yeah, his team might not be as great as last year or the year before, but he's still balling. So he's there.
As Stephen A. Smith likes to say, he can't jump off a curb. He's made of a big
True.
a tub of lard. Again, not my quotes. Stephen A. quotes here.
Just repeating.
This guy can dribble, and somehow he
Yeah.
seems to like dominate every single person alive in this league. It's almost
Yep.
like unfathomable how great Kola is. His
Hmm.
intelligence for the game, like absolutely out of this world. Worthy selection
Yeah.
in my mind. Um, for me, going deeper into the front court here, this is a player who's always been touted since he's been drafted number three
Hmm.
out of Duke to the
Yeah.
Boston Celtics. 28 points per game, 9 rebounds, 5 points, 3 assists. This guy's been as consistent as it come. Like you can almost chalk that for every single season almost. Another lock
Hmm.
here, Jason Tatum.
Yeah. Not much to say. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's just playing well. I don't really know what else to tell you. The Celtics maybe not playing as well as last year, but still playing reasonably well to be a second seed in the East. So yeah, he
You don't
deserves a
have any
spot on there.
concerns with them into the playoffs. So
Yeah,
you could just book them into the playoffs right now, barring any major injury, and just evaluate them from there.
yeah. People are saying, well, what I've heard on podcasts is that they're not shooting as well as they usually have. So that could be worrisome. But yeah, it's a problem for the playoffs. They're pretty well set in the second seed. Not too worried about them.
Yep,
All right.
I'm here.
Uh, this man, he's likes Twitter. You could say a nickname of his, very unusual nickname, has to do with spiders, tarantulas. From the University of Texas, where my dad also went to college. Kevin Durant here at the spot. Um, yeah, I just again, like I said earlier, him, KD or him, Curry, LeBron, All Star locks. Was in the MVP conversation for a minute there at the beginning of the season. Suns are not looking great at all, but he's still playing very well for another fantasy team of mine. So I love him for that. I actually have his shoes now, so I kind of I had to wrestle with the fact of what he's done, what he did to go to Golden State, and I have accepted it. So yeah, he's on this team.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't shout out Lucas Special, you rock with him.
For
So,
real.
um, yeah, I mean, not much to say. You already said it earlier when you said these guys are
I
locks.
know.
So,
Yeah, like
I
it's
think I have a good idea of like who's going to be your last selection. Oh, you might have a couple options here, but
there's one option.
um,
Anyway,
my
yes.
option, like you, your players probably can't change the game like this player right here. This
I'm so
guy,
scared.
absolute game changer. 25 points per game, 13.9 rebounds. Just been carrying the Knicks at certain points this season.
Yes.
Because I didn't go with the other player when I was picking LaMelo Ball, I decided to go with Karl Anthony Towns in the front court. Well deserving
Yeah.
here. Probably the best center in the conference playing right now.
Yeah.
Exceptionally well. 3-point shooting percentage has been crazy. Like he shot 44% against the Pistons in a
Whoa.
tight loss, 40% against the Bucks in the blowout, and like
Yep.
50% against OKC in a blowout in the other direction. But the guy's been absolutely incredible as an offensive option. He's given a lot of diversity to the Knicks, so
Mhm.
he was well deserving an All Star in my mind.
No, I agree. Literally, as you said, he's the best center in the conference. I'm like, what other center would be the best center in the conference? Joel Embiid, terrible season. I don't think he makes the All Star team at all. I like just
Maybe Bam if like there wasn't so much of
damn
controversy, like, but there's been like so much of stuff going on. Like,
with the Heat. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't. I off the top of my head, I don't think they get an All Star. I don't know, but yeah, and Bam. Yeah, that's. I'll just leave it at that expression. Like I don't know what else to say. There's not much else to say about him or the Heat or anything else. So yeah, I like the pick.
stats aren't even that been great on average. Like it's been,
Yeah, like
he's played like at least like almost 40 games, so um,
mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
expect more.
All right, for my last starter on the Western Conference All Stars. If you know me, you know who's missing on the squad. I don't even want to describe anymore. My goat, LeBron James, number 23 on the Lakers. Like honestly, honestly, as a LeBron fan, I still felt like how is he doing this? How is he on this starting lineup when the Lakers are like this just mid? Like I mean, well, they're maybe better than last year, but they're not amazing. Like on Saturday when I checked the standings, they were sixth. Okay, that's fine. It's been worse before when they were like 10th, but yeah, I mean that's it. Again, just a lock. He's him. I mean, he had a crazy dunk on Derek Lively, which ripped Derek Lively, but I would sacrifice Derek Lively's. I don't know what it like his reputation in that moment for that type of dunk. So I was fine with that. Yeah.
You're not a Mavs fan. You said that.
Yo,
That's
it was
crazy.
one
That
moment,
is crazy.
and we
That is.
won the
I
game.
get you're wearing a shirt right now, but I think you're trying to be a fraud to some people right here. The
Jeez.
LeBron glazing is crazy. Crazy.
I'm
He's not
so
even the
scared
best
of
player on
Mavs
his
players
team.
saying this.
Come on now. Did you just
Mm,
ignore Anthony Davis? Like what he's done this season is just incredible.
wait, I'm so scared. I have him highlighted though. Am I blind? Dang.
You didn't even have Anthony Davis in your entire All Star lineup. Oh my
I
god,
might be canceled. I
bro,
I
cancel
should be
Diego right
canceled.
now. This is.
Actually,
How did
no.
you forget about Anthony Davis, bro?
He did.
Jeez.
I might have to. I might have to like make a like a. Don't look at me. I'm making some changes.
I can't look at you after all this. This is crazy.
All right. Actually, I have a
Revoke
better.
his card. I'm gonna get a new host here. This is wild.
Honestly, that was kind of insane. All right. I've done what I had to do.
Yeah, I mean, real real speaking here, I don't think it's a bad lineup. Like if
Oh yeah, good
you have
starters.
like 5 of the 10 greatest players like playing the season, so
Yeah.
it's a good list. Good list.
No, definitely.
All Star reserves. I kind of didn't want to keep a banner for every single person, so I kind of list out who I have in no particular order. It was a little bit
Oh,
weird for me trying to come up with this list because
yeah.
um, like one of these players. hasn't played 10 games this season, but he's in those games
Yeah,
he's played, he's been really, really good. Like I
yeah,
almost was thinking about putting him in my starting front court, but I was like, no, I can't do that. I
insane,
really can't do
insane.
that. So I have Jalen Brown from the Celtics.
No.
I have Evan Mobley. Um,
Mhm.
was really debating whether to put him somehow in the starting lineup, but I couldn't talk myself out of what Cat has done. Um,
Yeah,
and I put Paulo. He was the player I was referencing. Um,
yep, yep.
by the way, um, that Magic coach, like Jamal
Jamal Mosley.
Mosley,
Yeah,
lock him in for coach of the year. What he's done with this team without his top two players, and like they're like what, top three or top four seed right now. I
they're
know
still.
Indiana's lurking, but like that's just incredible the job he's done with that defense, especially. So, um,
Yeah,
that's if that's not your coach of the year, I have some major questions. Um, Jalen Brunson, that was the guy who I was
hmm,
like, should I put Jalen or should I put LaMelo or should I put Donovan? Like, and I was like, I had to put Donovan because of like the impact he's had on the Cavs.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
with the season LaMelo Ball is playing, I've had to put him. Like any other year, Jalen Brunson's probably in the starting lineup. So Jalen, I'm sorry, I just had to highlight the kind of season LaMelo is having, even though his team is absolutely terrible. And
yeah,
I also wanted to highlight the fact that Cat is having on the New York Knicks being diversified as an offense. So I had to
yeah.
figure this out somehow. So you're still making All-Star,
No, it
Jalen.
makes sense.
Relax. You might make All NBA like at the end of the season.
Maybe,
So
maybe.
yeah,
I think so.
definitely considered that. You know, I had to put my boy Dame on there. He's also having a good
Yeah.
season. Darius Garland couldn't have this list without him. And then Kate
Mm-hmm.
Cunningham rounds up my reserves. Fantastic season he's had.
Cade. Messing with Cade. Yeah, I
Pistons are
like
just
it.
figuring themselves out, and he's a major reason why. So
Yeah, I do like the picks. I can't. I think a big debate is if the Cavs should have 3 or 4 All Stars. Tristan Thompson has been what's it called? Not recorded, but has been heard saying. I don't know. Basically, on the Hoop Collective, they're saying that Tristan Thompson was like alluding to how could their Cavs, this year's Cavs, not have 4 All Stars, but then the 2015 Hawks have 4 All Stars. It's a good question. Yeah,
I mean,
Jeff Teague was an All Star.
Jared Allen just missed the list for me.
Yeah,
Just like
so
it was literally going to be Cade or him, and
yeah,
that was just a hard decision for me to make.
I like Kate there, and like you always say like oh like there's just 12 spots, but this is difficult. I feel like, and especially I feel like I don't want to say for the Western Conference it's more difficult, but a little bit so because of how much is going on there. But yeah, because I mean you have the Pistons are a playoff team at this point. The Lamel's the only one off like a really not competitive team, so not too bad. I think it's still difficult out there in the East.
And looking and just from this past 5 games, like you're looking at Cade, who's had 32 against the Trailblazers. Even though he had 13
Mhm.
against the Nets, he shot 60% from the field. He had 32
Mhm.
against the Golden State Warriors in a 3-point loss. He had 22 against the Raptors, and he just put up 36 on the Knicks. Like
Yeah,
this guy is like carrying the bulk of the load of the team, whereas like with Allen, it's more of like the effect of Mobley plus Garland's development that has allowed him to
yeah,
shine in his own role and stuff. So that's where I look at like impact of the team, and that kind of separates my variable here. Um, yeah, I could have also replaced Jared Allen for Paulo. Like that's like there could
yeah.
be a debate with 2 of the 3 of the players on my
True,
reserves.
true.
All
And
right,
then yeah, I guess yeah, Western
assuming you
Conference.
put Anthony Davis in the reserves, who are the rest of you guys?
Yeah, so Anthony Davis, he was last minute switched out. I switched him out for James Harden just because didn't really. I was already iffy on James Harden, so I'm sorry, James. He doesn't care. But then Anthony Edwards, he's carrying a team that just doesn't seem to want to team or play basketball really. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. But he's carrying that team to a reasonable-ish record, so he's on this list. John Morant, second seed in the West, second or third seed in the West. Lock that in. Slightly controversial, maybe, possibly. I don't think so. On Twitter, he's actually being called Hector Banana Bread. Funny tweet. If you're on Twitter, look that up. It's so funny how that came about. But Victor Wembanyama, yeah, I think he should be an all-star. Didn't he have a 50-point
100%
game this
agree.
year? Um, Another guy, Alperen Şengün. I just think he had to be here because your second seed in the West could not be devoid of all-stars. I feel like that would have been blasphemy, heresy, hearsay, something like that, some word. Anthony Davis, like I said, he was also in MVP talks at the beginning of the season. Interesting there. Then Jalen Williams, best team in the West, second best guy on that team. Had played center for multiple games this year when there was no Hart or Chet Holmgren. Very, very good performance there, and I think he's just getting better and better. So I think that might be my most controversial pick. I just like him. I think he plays well.
I am
And
so surprised for the LeBron fanatic that you are, that you did not have Luka Doncic on the reserves.
no, but this is see. I'll explain it. Let me get my last guy. This
You
one kind of
confused me,
hurts.
Diego. You confused me over here.
No, no. Look, I have it written down, but let me finish the list. So our last guy before literally when I put Anthony Davis on the squad, it was De'Aaron Fox, but I switched it out for Domantas Sabonis. I was already iffy on the Kings All Stars, and I didn't put Domantas at first because I was just like, whatever. He's mid. He's not mid. I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way sometimes. But I put him on this list. I mean, having a 2020 game, he is the guy on this Kings team, and they're on a 6-game win streak. So I couldn't not give it to him, even out of spite. So he's on this team. So yeah. And now to the explanation of why two players from the best team to ever exist aren't on this All-Star team. I have it written down here on my notes. What I did was I based it on standings. So I went through all the Western Conference teams in their standings, and I saw what players could be All Stars. Dallas on Saturday was a 5th seed, and I assumed 2 players could be on the All Star team, but Max won because Luka is just going to be out. At least he's not going to play a month after he got injured. He's going to get reevaluated, so it might be even longer than that. Kyrie Irving is still out with a herniated disc for the past week, so it's just getting ravaged by injuries, and that's the reason. Trying to be as unbiased as possible. I know some might say confusing, but me, I say facts, logic, just dealing with reality the only way I know how.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my list. The
I thought
cap
you
is
were I thought you were giving me the Watcher vibes there from the Marvel TV show at the end
yeah,
there. But hey, hey, I respect it. I respect it. I know you're
yeah.
LeBron glazed over there over Anthony
Oh,
Davis. But I'll
true.
overlook it because you do not have Luka Doncic and Kyrie on there.
Yeah,
So
I've
in
made
all seriousness,
sacrifices.
like the amount of stars in the Western Conference is absolutely
Yeah,
absurd. Like you could have
insane.
you could have had James Harden on there. You could have had De'Aaron
Yeah,
Fox. You could have had
yeah.
Devin Booker, who's not on there.
Great.
You could have had Jamal Murray, like picking it up, although he's had a very
Mm,
inconsistent season. Um,
yeah, that would have been
let's
tough.
see, going down the list. Um, nobody, as
Well,
much as I absolutely
oh,
glaze over Trey Murphy as a guy I would want on my team, he doesn't qualify for this type of list here.
he does
But
not.
sadly,
Jaron
um,
Jackson Jr. He's not on this list at
he's
all.
he's having a great season. I think he's
Yeah, man.
he's one of those players who's matured as well, like on that Grizzlies team, and he's finding himself. I've always loved Jaren Jackson. Just
Yeah.
watching him as far as like his defensive intangibles and stuff. But I'll never
Mhm.
forget how a second seeded Memphis team. Sorry, I'm trying to charge my laptop as while I'm speaking. I can never understand how a second seeded Memphis team lost to the Lakers without, and the only reason where I could reason that is because they weren't emotionally mature to handle the playoffs in that moment. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think they gotten over that point, and Just a correction there. They are currently the 3rd seed, but
Yeah,
they are a very dangerous team right now. And I think
no,
they're for
definitely.
real this time. So um, credit to the Grizzlies, man, and Taylor Jenkins.
Yep.
They done incredible work.
Growing from I'm fine in the West to we're not fine in the West.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget that. I'm gonna be on my deathbed. Actually, hopefully not on my deathbed. I'm gonna be an old man. I'm gonna say, John Morant said he was fine in the West and he was not. And we'll see what the rest of that story is. That's what we're gonna see now. But he is grown. That's good for
Indeed.
him. So he's more mature. I like it.
Zion, you can learn a little bit from that. So that's it
God,
from us. You can follow
yeah,
us on our Instagram page. My laptop's about to die, so follow us on
pretty real.
amam.a.mission. I'm for real, for
Good
real.
chow.
Alrighty. You guys have a good week. We'll see you later.
See ya. Let's go.